Hello everyone. Today, we'll be seeing how fast Vespiquen can beat Pokemon Pearl in a solo run challenge. Let's get on with day 3 of our daily December spree. Let's get straight into the video. Vespiquen was originally supposed to be released way back in March, I believe. It was going to be my first Pokemon Pearl video of the year, released alongside Mothim, but I had a lot of problems with the route, plus the run was just so hard near the end. I just canceled the video entirely, but I better just do it now, you know? Just rip the band-aid off and deal with the pain later. But you may be wondering, how is this going to be bad? We're a fully evolved bug type, and we got some pretty decent stats. We have 70 HP, 80 attack, 102 in the defenses, 80 special attack, and 40 speed. Yeah, that is quite bad speed, and we are pretty defensive, and the attacks are okay. But we are in the medium-slow level up group, so at least we'll be leveling up quite quickly in the early game. But with 40 speed though, ew. Although you may wonder, why don't I run a plus speed nature, like timid or something, but I'm actually running the rash nature for extra special attack and lowering special defense. While yes, extra speed will be useful, plus this is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the Elite Four teams have significantly higher speed stats than Pokemon Platinum. We really just need the extra damage output, especially since we have no access to any setup moves by level up. We start the moveset with Gust, Sweet Scent, and Poison Sting, and then we get Confuse Ray at level 7, and then Fury Cutter, Defend Order, Pursuit, Fury Swipes, Power Gem, Heal Order, Toxic, Slash, Captivate, Attack Order, Swagger, and Destiny Bond. Okay, I did lie. We do get Defend Order, which boosts our defense and special defense by 1 stage. I mean, it's going to have some uses, but it would be great if, like, Attack Order, instead of being a powerful bug move, maybe it, like, boosts your attack by 2 stages or something. That'd be pretty cool. But still, a 90 power bug move is still really good. I'm going to go over our TM moveset just a little bit later. I want to try experimenting not having all the information overload at the start, but right now, at least since we have access to the same type attack bonus move Gust, we can actually take care of the Route 202 trainers pretty easily, and then once we eventually get into Jubilife City, we'll be able to get access to the Hidden Power TM. And for this run, we're going with Hidden Power Water. This will be a great way to not only take out Rourke, but it is also going to be a lifesaver in Flint in the Elite Four. Flint can actually be a challenge in this game. I know people like to meme on him for having only 2 out of 5 fire types, but in his defense, that is all the fire types in the game, and 2, at least he makes up for it with decent type variety, like Drifblim and Steelix. Those are generally not easy Pokemon to take out. But since I did bring up the TM for Hidden Power, I better show off the rest of the TMs though. We actually get some pretty decent choices as well. I did mention Hidden Power, and we can use Rain Dance with it if we want to. And then we get access to Return, Sludge Bomb, Aerial Ace, Facade, Secret Power, Thief, Roost, Silver Wind, which is a great Omni boosting move. It might come in handy, we'll see. And then we get access to Giga Impact, X-Scissor, U-Turn, Substitute, Cut, and Defog. Yeah, U-Turn is not going to be great, and X-Scissor, while it is a great bug move, it is weaker than Attack Order, plus Attack Order is actually a high crit move. Most people actually don't know that. I actually skip a lot of the optional trainers on Route 203, go into the Orberg Gate to catch a Geodude for Strength and Rock Climb, and then I can talk to Rourke to get him back to his gym. I will fight the gym trainers though, because I do have Hidden Power Water, so they will be quite easy. And with the 2 trainers defeated, let's go take on the first gym leader, Rourke. He leads off with a Geodude. I go right away and use Hidden Power Water, and it one-shots. That's good. At least the medium slow group has been helping with levels. And then on the Onix, it does outspeed and go for Screech, fortunately not using Rock Throw, but even if it did, it would not have done much damage. And then on the Cranidos, Hidden Power actually one-shots as well, even though it's only regular super effective instead of quad weak. That's mainly because Cranidos' defensive stats for a rock type are actually really bad. I go to the bottom floor of the Orberg Gate to catch myself a Psyduck. I had to weaken it down because I actually forgot to get the Dusk Ball for the guaranteed catch rate. Oops. Then I can head my way back to Jubilife City, up to Floroma Town, and go take on Mars at the Valley Windworks. Before I take her on though, I just want to mention my two main moves are Gust and Hidden Power. Unless the opponent is weak to flying, Hidden Power is actually still stronger than Gust, because in this generation, Hidden Power is still base 70 power. So yeah, unless the opponent is weak to Gust or resists water, we're just using Hidden Power Water. But let's go fight Mars. I do have a Pecha Berry equipped just in case it goes for the turn 1 Toxic, but this is Diamond and Pearl. No guarantee of that happening turn 1. And it did, but that's why I have the berry. My main plan is to actually just spam Fury Cutter on the Zubat, and eventually when I get to the Purugly, it should do enough for the one-shot. And the Zubat does quad resist, but all that does is give me time to build it up. Then the Purugly went for a turn 1 fake out, and I get a reset. That was a 1 in 3 chance of a turn 1 fake out. That sucked. On the second attempt, I make it back to the Purugly, go for Fury Cutter, and it faked out again. I mean, at least I'm still high on HP, so I instead decide to just switch over to Gust. This was a bad idea. I should have gone Hidden Power Water, but fortunately, I get a crit at the last minute, and I beat her at just 6 hit points remaining. Yeah, if she didn't do the 1 in 3 turn 1 fake out, that Fury Cutter probably would have one-shot the Purugly. Damn. I do a lot of the training in the Eterna Forest, not because I'm scared of Gardenia, it's just in preparation for the late game too, because Vespiquen is going to need a pretty decent level. But at least with Gardenia, this gym should be an absolute breeze. Let's go fight her. Gardenia leads off with Cherubi in this game, unlike Platinum where she leads with Turtwig, but it doesn't matter. I one-shot the Cherubi with Gust, then on the Turtwig, I have to two-shot it because Turtwig is pretty defensive, but fortunately it has Reflect and not Light Screen, so I don't have to worry about the damage output of Gust being reduced. Then on the Roserade, it's going to be a two-shot, and it hits me with Grass Knot, doing about 4 damage, not once but twice. I'm actually glad she did not go for Stun Spore, but even if she did, what's she gonna do to me? And then as soon as I defeat the Roserade, I get the opportunity to learn a very good move, which is Heal Order. I would really love this move, but I've known from my previous attempts that moveset constraint is actually quite bad. You're actually better off keeping the diverse moveset, so I sadly had to say no to Heal Order. I mean, I can always get it back with a Heart Scale later. Or just get Roost, because the great thing with Roost is, for that one turn you use it, it deletes your flying typing, so you could take less damage from rock and electric moves. And anyway, with Gardenia defeated, since Mars was pretty iffy, let's see if Jupiter can go any better. I did forget to mention this earlier, but I did have a Quick Claw equipped for a bunch of the run, but for Jupiter specifically, I'm going to equip an Oranberry, because I think maybe with the extra HP I should be just fine. On the Zubat though, since I don't have to worry about Toxic, I can just set up a bunch of defend orders and raise my defenses tenfold, or I guess twofold, but either way, I can just spam Power Gem, which I learned via level up. This is a pretty good special rock move that Vespiquen can learn. You may think this would be a great option for Flint, but not really actually. The problem is the moveset constraint is just really bad. At least it was in my first run. The reason I had to cancel the video is because I didn't have Power Gem for Flint's Drifblim and had to use Hidden Power Water, and it was quite horrible. But in this route, I do change the moveset ordering to where I can keep Power Gem for him, or at least use a Heart Scale to get it back. So Power Gem is definitely going to be the saving grace of this run. I head on down through Cycling Road, pick up some Rost Berries, get the Route 207 Rare Candy, cross through Mount Coronet, and make our way to Hearthome City. Fantina is the 5th gym leader in the original Sinnoh games, which in my opinion actually makes sense. I never liked how Platinum made you fight Fantina 3rd. It just really weakened her team. Plus, whenever you looked in your badge case, even though Fantina became the 3rd gym, it was still in the 5th slot. So yeah, it was definitely a weird decision. I mean, it's not really a big deal that you have to backtrack to a gym. Have you heard of the Viridian City Gym in Kanto? Just saying. But while I'm in Hearthome City, there is a rival fight here, and I go ahead and completely destroy this fight thanks to having Hidden Power Water and Power Gem. And then as soon as I leave Hearthome City and enter Route 209, before I can enter Salacian Town, I have to go ahead and enter the Lost Tower. There is a TM for return here, which I may or may not use, but at the top floor there's the HM for strength. This I cannot use until after the 6th gym. It did make no sense why strength is here though. And then in the Salacian Ruins, I go to the final room and get a bunch of the high money items, including a rare candy. I do plan to do a vitamin buy later. And then on Route 210, I can talk to this Ace Trainer and get myself the TM for Roost. I'm not going to teach this right now though, but I am saving it for sure. And then the very first trainer on Route 215 is the Ruin Maniac Calvin, I believe his name is. Yeah, it is Ruin Maniac Calvin. I was reading this in real time, but this guy is difficult in Platinum because he resists a lot of typings. He's kind of worse in Diamond and Pearl because Diamond and Pearl is the only main series game where Hypnosis is 70% accurate. So it's essentially like sleep powder. And yeah, that Bronzor is really freaking annoying. But fortunately, I don't have any issues with him today, nor do I have any issues with Dennis and Maya. As soon as I enter Veilstone City, I pick up some PP-ups in the area to use on some other moves later, but I'm not ready to take on Maylene yet. I'm actually going to go south to Route 214 and do a lot of the training here too. And once I finish up the good training, I can go ahead and enter Maylene's gym, solve this pretty complex puzzle. I need to watch a speedrun at some point because I do not know the most optimal way to solve this puzzle, but I'll figure that out in no time. Anyway, let's go take on the 3rd gym leader, Maylene. Maylene leads off with her Metatite. I used Gust, but it turned 1 detected, but it can't detect the second one. Then on the Machoke, it is almost a one-shot, and fortunately, she did not go for Brick Break, it just went for Foresight like an idiot. Then on the Lucario, I decided to just spam Hidden Power Water because Lucario is not weak to flying because of its steel typing. But fortunately, the Lucario doesn't really have the best of moves against the Vespiquen. Its best move is pretty much Metal Claw. But fortunately, I think it didn't use it more than one time. And even though I did get paralyzed with Force Palm, I still win on the first try. Nice. And with Maylene defeated, I do a lot of the good training leading to Pastoria City, and while doing the training at level 37, I have learned the move Attack Order, and I'm going to teach this in the place of Gust. Gust has really fallen off the moveset, and honestly, Bug, Rock, and Water should be good enough coverage for almost everything in the game, I think. When I eventually make it to Pastoria City, I go ahead and get the Defog HM, and then I get the rare candy here as well. There's also a rare candy in Route 212 as well in the little mud patch here. And with all this stuff obtained, we can go ahead and take on the 4th gym leader, Crasher Wake. Remember earlier when I said that Power Gem is a saving grace? It really helps on the Gyarados here because I can hit it for super effective rock damage, and it does not get affected by Intimidate because Power Gem is one of the few special rock moves in this game. So at least I don't have to worry about that. I did forget to heal though going into this fight, but that's fine though. I set up an attack order. I really can't get hit too much for damage. And then on the Floatzel, it hit me with Ice Fang and it did like 12 damage. So yeah, I honestly don't think I have to worry here unless I get flinched or frozen by Ice Fang. And fortunately I do not. And then his final Pokemon, Quagsire, is an easy 2-shot with Attack Order. Although, I did not expect it to crit me with Slam. Well then. I mean, that is my punishment for forgetting to heal, but you saw how much damage Slam did. That crit was the only reason he beat me. I'm still calling that a fluke. There is a lot of uninteresting things from here. The rival fight in Pastoria is an absolute joke. I gotta chase a Team Galactic run around, gotta go through the foggy route to get to Celestic Town. There's no Cyrus battle here in Diamond and Pearl, so I don't have to worry about him until later. And then eventually I can get the HM for Surf as well, but before I can use Surf, I have to go defeat Fantina. So why don't we go ahead and take on the 5th gym leader, Fantina, the user of Ghost-type Pokemon. Fantina leads off with Driftblim. I go ahead and use 2 power gems to defeat it. I could have set up some defend orders, but I didn't want to give it any chances of getting an Omni boost. Although, I probably should have used a couple, because Shadow Ball is doing decent damage, and it doesn't help that one of them got a special defense drop, and because of that, the Mismagius is actually able to knock me out. One of the upsetting things is that Mismagius also has Magical Leaf. It could theoretically just use that over and over again. Then on the second fight, I just go for the strat that I did the first time and just spam Power Gem on it. Then on the Mismagius, I continue spamming Attack Order, and it's not very effective, but the reason I'm going for it is because of the higher crit chance. And fortunately it is a 3-shot even though I don't get any crits. Then the Gengar comes out, I'm at 19 HP left, I go for Power Gem, it goes for Spite, and then it goes for Power Gem, it leaves me at 1 hit point remaining, she ends up healing, it goes for Spite again, and then it goes for Confuse Ray, and I hit myself. Dude, I was so close! I get another few more resets on this gym before I finally defeat her and get my Relic Badge. You know, I really think I should have set up some defend orders on the Driftblim, because its only attacks are Ominous Wind and Gust. Like, I feel like I just should have done that. But now with the ability to use Surf, I can get the rare candy on Route 214, and then behind the Valley Windworks there is a Max Elixir here I can get too. Plus there's also a rare candy on the way to Canalave City. And before we can fight Byron though, woohoo, I predict he might be a challenge. We gotta go take on the rival first. This is the first point where the rival is actually pretty difficult, both in Diamond and Pearl and in Platinum. Let's see how the fight goes. On the Staravia, I set up 1 defend order, and then I sweep with Power Gem. Fortunately, it did not go for double team. Then on the Monferno, I switch on over to Hidden Power Water, and fortunately it one-shots, not putting it into Blaze territory, because that would be pretty bad. Then on the Heracross, I'm going to have to 2-shot it with Hidden Power Water, but I realized the first one actually was not a good roll, so I use an attack order in between to prevent a potion range, and I deny the chance to learn Destiny Bond because this isn't a Wobbuffet in Stadium 2. I don't want Destiny Bond. And fortunately, the rest of his team is actually pretty easy after that. But you can definitely see the lack of a setup move is really holding us back. It's a good thing we're in the medium-slow group. Vespiquen does not look like it should be in the medium-slow level-up group. It looks like it should be in the slow group. And if it was in the slow group, oh god, this run would be way worse than it ended up being. And now with the rival defeated, let's go take on Byron. Byron leads off with his Bronzor. I go for a Hidden Power doing a third. I get hit with a 70% Hypnosis, but fortunately I wake up right away and Attack Order actually does quite a lot. Then on the Bastiodon, I switch back to Hidden Power Water. Flash Cannon did like 18 damage, and it is going to be a 3-shot with Hidden Power Water, but unfortunately he used a full restore. That's fine though, but it went for rest and the Chesto Berry woke it up. So this is going to take quite a lot of attempts to kill. And then the Bastiodon decided to grow a Brain Cell and used Ancient Power, and I get killed. You know it's embarrassing when you lose to his Bastiodon, because Bastiodon is one of the worst Pokemon ever designed. I do feel like, though, I should have played this section of the game a bit better, because I actually forgot to get the Choice Specs with Vespiquen. Using the Choice Specs with Hidden Power Water actually would have made Byron a lot easier, but I forgot to get it. And I really did not need a Quick Claw for this fight. His team is quite slow. I take on Saturn at Lake Valor without any issues, but then on Mars and Lake Verity, I do get a reset because I do get hit with Toxic from her Golbat, and I'm not able to take out her team in time. I could equip a Pecha Berry, but I decided not to and just keep forcing my way through. But this Golbat is just annoying as hell. I'm just counting on it not going for Toxic, and if it does, I just gotta hope I can win. And it actually takes me 3 resets to actually beat her, all because of Toxic luck. So yeah, that was kind of bad. I feel like I should have equipped a Pecha Berry though. Oh well though, let's just move on to Snow Point City. I think this gym though will actually be pretty easy. She leads off with Snover, which sets up the Hail right away. I go for a turn 1 defend order, and Razor Leaf does 2 damage, which is pretty funny. And then I can use attack order for the one-shot. Next up is the Sneasel. This thing is also weak to attack order. I do actually get the Quick Claw clutch and actually outspeed it for the one-shot. And I speed tie the Abomasnow, but with the Quick Claw, I have a 60% chance of going first, and I do get it. Nice. And then I can just 2-shot the Metacham with attack order. And fortunately, Ice Punch does not freeze. So yeah, pretty good gym fight, if I do say so myself. And with Candace defeated, we now need to go to Veilstone City and do the Galactic Hideout. But before we do that, we need to go buy some vitamins. And today's vitamin of the day is 4 Carbos, 3 Calcium, and 5 Zinc. We need all the special attack we can get. We're a slow Pokemon, and I had leftover money, so I just bought Zinc. This will come in handy for the special attackers we have to face later, such as on Flint's team. Although a bunch of his team have physical moves too, but it was either special defense or defense, and you don't really get good special defense EVs in this game, so I figured Zinc was the right call here. And fortunately for me, the entirety of the Veilstone hideout had no issues whatsoever, and then in Mount Coronet, I can get the 2 rare candies that are here, and then at the very top, before I fight Mars and Jupiter, I use most of the rare candies to get to level 58. This is the level I want to fight Cyrus at, because this will let me outspeed his slower Pokemon. I'm obviously not going to outspeed the Crobat or the Weavile, but I should outspeed the Honchkrow and the Gyarados right now. And if I lose to Cyrus, I have to fight Mars and Jupiter all over again. And I am a little worried though, because when I do end up beating Mars and Jupiter, I ended up beating them on low health. And that's not really a good sign for Cyrus, but hopefully things go better. He leads off with his Honchkrow right away. I go ahead and right away use a Power Gem because I don't want to try setting up on it. It goes for Steel Wing like an idiot, thankfully. Thankfully it didn't go for Drill Peck because that would have hurt. Then on the Crobat, I get the Quick Claw clutch, go for Power Gem. Cross Poison didn't do too much, and then it goes for Air Slash, leaving me at 69 HP. Nice. Well, the level up killed it. Rip. Anyway, then on the Gyarados, I can 2-shot it. Ice Fang, it only does around like 40 damage, and now all he has left is the Weavile. Please do not use Ice Punch. Oh, doesn't matter. I get the Quick Claw clutch. Yeah, first try Cyrus. Let's go. Let's go celebrate this winning streak and go take on the final gym leader, Volkner. Normally he's easy after Cyrus, but since we're weak to electric, I wouldn't hold my breath just yet. Volkner leads off right away with his Raichu. I just hope it doesn't go for a turn 1 Thunder Wave, and it did. But that's why I have the Cherry Berry. I then set up a defend order, it goes for Brick Break, and then I can just one-shot with attack order. I don't think attack order makes contact. Either way, I don't get paralyzed with static. But then the Luxray actually turn 1 Thunder Wave me. Wow, okay, Volkner, you're actually starting to play smart. Please don't do that, please. And then on the Ambipom, I actually ran out of attack orders because I forgot to use an Ether before this fight. So I have to take out the Ambipom with Power Gem, which isn't really the best. I keep getting paralyzed because I can't move. And then the thing actually baton passed its Nasty Plots and Agility to the Octillery. And that caused the Octillery to absolutely not destroy me because it went for Bullet Seed like an idiot. Okay, can I win this fight? It goes for Agility, and I win. Okay, Volkner, you had every opportunity to win that fight. You batoned past 2 Nasty Plots and an Agility to your Octillery, and you go for Aurora Beam, then Bullet Seed. What is wrong with you? I do pretty much all the training in Victory Road as well. I want as high of a level as possible for the league. I do get a reset on one of the veteran trainers near the back though, and I did have to reset a couple of trainers back. But oh well, not much you can really do about that. And then with all that done, I can enter the Pokemon League. I heal up, deposit my HM users, buy some full restores, and before I fight the final 5 trainers, I gotta beat the rival again. And thanks to a single attack order, I'm actually able to make it quite far into his team. But unfortunately, taking on 6 Pokemon is quite difficult in a solo challenge even if you're overleveled. and I do end up getting a loss on the Snorlax, but since I healed inside the league and I deposited my HM users, I can actually just accept the Blackout. Blackout training before the league on the rival can actually be a great plan for some Pokemon. I end up getting to a grand total of 10 Blackouts in the entire run before I'm finally able to defeat the rival, and by the time I'm able to, I get to level 70. So now I can use my remaining 9 rare candies to go all the way to level 79. So now, let's go take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. The first member of the Elite Four is Aaron, the user of Bug types. He leads off with a Dustox. I go for Power Gem, and it lives in low health. Fortunately, it used Double Team instead of Toxic. Normally, I would equip a Pecha Berry for this, but I'd really just rather hold on to the Quick Claw. Although for this fight specifically, I probably should have used a Pecha Berry. But either way though, I can move on. I one-shot the Vespiquen with Power Gem, and then on the Drapion, I have to switch over to Attack Order. It would be a 2-shot if it weren't for the Citrus Berry. And surprisingly, he actually didn't use a full restore when he got to red health. I was really preparing to say, use the full restore, but he never did, which is quite strange. But fortunately, the rest of his Pokemon after that are actually quite bad. Next up is the Ground-type Elite Four member, Bertha. Since the Quagsire literally does not have a move that can hit me, I can use this opportunity to set up 2 defend orders. I theoretically could have gone +6, but I didn't want it to set up too many double teams. And then on the Golem, I can use Hidden Power Water to one-shot it. Then on the Pseudo Widow, I can use Hidden Power as well. It does not have the ground typing, so because of that, it actually barely survives. But there's not really much you can do about it. And then on the Wishcash, I go ahead and switch to Attack Order. It does almost all of its health, does put it into full restore range, but that's fine though. I outspeed and then I can 2-shot it from there. And then last up is her Hippowdon. Yeah, this Hippowdon's gonna be easy too. I go use Hidden Power Water, it lives in red health, but the Citrus Berry puts it out of a heal range, and Stone Edge only does like 40 damage because of the defend orders. Next up is the Fire-type Elite Four member, Flint. This guy is the reason I delayed this video months ago, but let's see how this goes. I'm still going into the fight with the same moveset, but I do have the Mystic Water equipped. What I'm going to do is on the Rapidash, I'm gonna have to one-shot with Hidden Power Water. Fortunately, it did not use Flare Blitz or Bounce, it went for Solar Beam. Alright, that's good. If it went for Sunny Day, that would have been annoying too. And then the Drifblim just baton passes turn 1 to Infernape. Fortunately for me, Flare Blitz doesn't do too much, it only does like 80 damage. And then he sends out the Drifblim again. I go ahead and set up some more defend orders, and then I go ahead and try to hit it with Power Gem, but it set up a bunch of double teams. I am hoping I can defeat this thing before he baton passes his double teams to somebody else. And fortunately, I do defeat it. Then on the Lopunny, I have to go ahead and use Attack Order, but I got hit with Charm, plus I'm burned. I'm at -4 attack, and because of that burn, I have to take a reset. You may wonder if it's worth just having the Ross Berry, but I do think having the extra damage output from Hidden Power Water is far more useful. But even with this better strat for Flint, I don't end up beating him until the playthrough gets 16 resets overall. So I've had a few resets to Flint, but he's definitely a lot better than last time. I remember in my actual first attempt, I had like 30 plus resets to Flint. It was so bad. Plus, I think I was level 65 or something, and I'm almost level 80 in this attempt. So yeah, a lot of planning had to go into this, but it was definitely worth it. Next up is the Psychic-type Elite Four member, Lucian. This guy should be an absolute night and day difference compared to how Flint went. I go ahead and use an Attack Order, and unfortunately it went for Reflect turn 1, and then on the Medicham, I go ahead and can just continue using Attack Order, and Ice Punch actually does a decent bit of damage. although the Medicham is kind of bulky and it does take a few hits to knock it out. And then the Girafarig goes for Crunch, and this is actually my opportunity to use some Roost. I didn't want to use Roost on the first couple of Pokemon because they all had super effective moves. But then again, now that I look back at this playthrough, I should have set up some defend orders on the Mr. Mime, because even if it goes for Thunderbolt, I have Roost. I can just wait for the Reflect to go away. So yeah, I definitely could have played this a little bit better, but I still win on the first try. And now, there is just one more opponent between me and victory. We need to go take on the champion, Cynthia. She leads off with her Spiritomb. I go ahead and set up 3 defend orders, and at this point I figured, you know what, I think 3 defend orders is enough. So I switch on over to attack order, which does neutral damage, and then the Spiritomb gets an Omni boost with Silverwind, but I still outspeed it despite that. Then on the Milotic, I continue using attack order, and then the Milotic actually crits me with Ice Beam, and it freezes me on top of it. So yeah, that was a very anticlimactic reset. Fortunately though, on the second attempt, I don't get frozen, and as long as I keep my health high with Roost, I can just attack with either attack order or hidden power water depending on who the opponent is, and then eventually I take out the Roserade and Vespiquen clocks in with a real time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 44 seconds with 17 resets, 10 blackouts at level 81, with a game time in the Hall of Fame of 7 hours and 38 minutes. So yeah, this playthrough, while it did look like it went smooth in some parts, I had to do a lot of training and rare candy hoarding in order to prepare. It was unfortunate though, I had to use rare candies for Cyrus, but a lot of playthroughs in this game essentially have to use rare candies for them. You just do not want to have to fight Mars and Jupiter again, so you want to make sure that fight goes according to plan. But I'd say this run did okay for a bug type. If we take a look at the leaderboard though, I'm recording this playthrough ahead of time, just like all these daily December videos. I haven't edited my leaderboard as of yet to avoid spoilers in case I show it on a live stream by mistake. So I'll just show an image of the leaderboard as of editing this, and I can show y'all what it looks like. But I can guarantee you it is definitely near the bottom, I'm sure. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow me on my socials or support the channel through YouTube memberships. YouTube members get access to the patch files for all the backboard Pokemon we do on streams. And this has been 3 daily December videos. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be doing my first Versus video in over a year. We're going to be playing the game with Pokemon Emerald. We're going to be racing Deoxys attack form versus the defense form. It took a lot of work to get these compatible, and it's definitely quite interesting. I really want to race these two and see who does better. I think we all know who's going to do better, but it'll still be fun. And then later on in the month, we'll do the normal form versus the speed form. I will see you all tomorrow for the next video of Daily December.